There you go. Okay. Welcome to episode 2, everyone, to the Ham and Takes Pod. I'm your host, Hamza. Joiner, looking at your right, is my co-host, Mina. How are you doing today, my man?
Shoot.
Good. How are you, buddy?
Doing good, too. Now, today is a very special episode. We got a very good special co-host. One of my closest friends, one of Mina's closest friends, one of our best friends from college. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, the one and only Zach Chichester. My man, how you doing?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Hamza and
I,
Mina.
yeah, appreciate you, my man. And I see you got the Canes merch on, and you absolutely love to see it. Go Canes, by the way.
Absolutely, man. Huge Caniac.
Heck yeah, dude. But man, how are you boys doing today?
Tired. Very tired.
Oh yeah, you're tired. Yeah, I feel you, dude. I mean, yeah, it's something. But
Happy to be a part of the Hammy Takes movement.
there you go. There you go. You see,
Yes, sir.
gotta love
Absolutely.
support. Gotta love the support, and I appreciate that always. So I guess we can just get right into it. I mean, I am a little behind, so like 2 weeks behind. So I'm gonna just try to like cram whatever I can. So but other than that, I mean, it's episode 2. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But first off, the Super Bowl recap. Obviously, Chiefs played the Eagles. Chiefs ended up beating the Eagles by 3 points, and it came down to it was like a really good game. First half, the Eagles dominated time of possession. I mean, their offensive line just kept bullying Kansas City's defensive line. Jalen Hurts was balling out in the Super Bowl, especially in the first half. But I mean, the Eagles dominated time of possession, and then the second half, Andy Reid comes out, has a complete masterclass of a game plan, and Mahomes doing what Mahomes does, leading the Chiefs to the win, and obviously, unfortunately, came down to like this one penalty that James Bradbury got called for holding on Juju Smith-Schuster, and it was a very controversial whether it should have called that call or not. But other than that, that's what it came down to. And then Kansas City ended up kicking a field goal to seal the deal, and Chiefs are Super Bowl champs. Patrick Mahomes is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. What are you guys' thoughts on the Super Bowl? And yeah, I guess one of you can go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. First of all, you forgot to mention the Rihanna halftime performance.
Oh
and
yeah,
the big
that
announcement.
too.
So
There you go. Yeah.
that's a huge part of the game. But
Oh.
other than that,
Oh.
I don't know about that last call. I was kind of disappointed to see it.
Mhm.
I kind of felt like the way they were calling the game, it didn't really, constitute the holding based on the way that they were calling the rest of the game. I guess you could say that it does qualify as a holding based
Mhm.
on NFL rules.
Right.
But they kind of let some things slide earlier in the game that kind of gave the idea that that kind of play would be allowed. And then when that play actually happened in crunch time, the refs kind of put the game in their hands and made that call.
Right.
And I don't know how I feel about that, especially with Bradbury being a former Panther. I love Bradbury, so it's sad to
Oh
see
yeah.
that fall on his shoulders. But
Mhm. If you guys
the way it
can't
went.
tell,
So.
Zach is a Panthers fan, and by the
Oh
way,
yeah, huge Panthers fan.
I'm gonna be talking about the Panthers soon in a little bit when I get to the head coaching stuff, because I'm really loving what the Panthers are doing. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Zach. I mean, it was kind of egregious that you let the last play of the game be decided by the refs, and it really had to come down to it, especially when it was like a clean game. But even then, like, I really can't personally blame that last game being the reason why the Eagles lost, because I think the Eagles defense kind of did not adjust to the game plan and they kind of blew it. But yeah, I do agree with you on like everything. Like I thought it was just egregious that it would just come down to like the last second. Then that's when you decide to call. But other than that, like I think it was just robbery. But what about you, Mina? What do you think?
I'm just glad I didn't hear anything about Jackson Mahomes.
Oh, this man said Jackson Mahomes. Hey, I don't blame you, dog. I don't blame you.
was a
Um,
very anticlimactic finish, however. And the Super Bowl halftime show did not need to be 30 minutes long or however long it was. I was just ready for the game to continue. We had more important things at hand than to watch pregnant Rihanna try to bust a move in front of everybody.
this man. I mean, yeah, that was actually shocking though. Super Bowl halftime performance. I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked it though. Rihanna killed it low key. And like, yeah, she was pregnant, but that was the impressive part. Like, she wasn't breaking out any dance moves, and I was kind of looking. I was like, you could tell like she was pregnant, and I was like, oh wow, Rihanna, okay. But she did a really good job with that Super Bowl halftime show, and I was pretty impressed. And like, she broke out all the classic songs that she came out with, and it was freaking amazing. So, shout out Rihanna. I mean, that's awesome.
I'm
But
sure it was
yeah,
a tough time for Drake.
oh
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Drake was probably having a tough time watching that.
oh
But
yeah, dude. When Kanye West got featured, that was the best part, bro. Twitter was going crazy
hey,
with the memes. I think I sent you this Kanye West meme at the halftime show. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was some dude at the watching TV, and he was just like all depressed, and it was funny, man. I sent, man, the memes were cooking on Twitter with those memes. Man, you gotta love Twitter on that one. But yeah, man. I mean, the halftime show was amazing, and yeah, that last call I felt like was kind of egregious. Shouldn't have not been called, but then again, I mean, then again, you gotta give Andy Reid props. I mean, the
for sure.
yeah, I mean, probably showing he's the best coach in all of football. Well, if we don't consider Belichick or Kyle Shanahan, but I mean Reid, I mean his game plan, adjusting in the second half. I mean, it was amazing. And then
You
Steve
forgot the
Spagnuolo,
most
man.
legendary coach
You said what?
that is currently in the NFL, Brian Dable,
Yes.
best coach in the NFL,
Hey now.
according to Matthew Thomas. I'm quoting him directly.
I mean, he's coach of the year. I mean, he deserves it. So,
His coach of the year.
coach of the
They
year.
did win a playoff game, so
Yeah, you gotta give Brian Dable props. He made Daniel Jones look mid. He didn't make him look. He wasn't horrible. He made Daniel Jones look somewhat of an improvement. So you gotta give Brian Dable credit. But but yeah, man. But like as I was saying, Steve Spagnuolo coming out with these blitz packages that he was displaying in the second half, absolutely incredible. Even though I'm not the biggest Steve Spagnuolo fan for DC, but other than that, I mean, at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is a two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP, and he's done that in his sixth season in the NFL, 5 years starting. I mean, two-time MVP and like literally making the AFC Championship game every single year, not even having a road playoff game. Like, I think that's just ridiculous for Mahomes. And which kind of leads me to my next topic. Like, where do you think Mahomes is ranking all time? Because some people, like, even before the Super Bowl, were putting Mahomes in their top 10. And then after the Super Bowl, like, people were putting Mahomes in their top 5. So, like, where do you rank Mahomes, like, on an all time basis, given, like, what he's accomplished so far in his career?
Top 10.
Mm-hmm.
probably like right behind Sam Darnold. But no, I'm kidding. Let's see. All time, it's kind of hard to rank him this early in his career. You know, he does have the 2 Super Bowl wins, 2 MVPs. Um, yeah. So he already has more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers. He has more Super Bowls. I'm not trying to call you out, but
No,
he has more Super Bowls than Drew Brees, more
yeah.
MVPs than Drew Brees. So you know, it's kind of crazy to see him accomplish this much like so early in his career. He's obviously still behind Brady. He lost the Super Bowl to Brady. I don't think he'll ever get to Brady, sadly. Even if he, you know, matches somehow matches the playoff success that Brady had, I don't think he'll ever be able to catch him because he lost to him head to head in the Super Bowl. So I think Tom Brady kind of protected his GOAT status, you know, in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's kind of hard to rank him all time. So I feel like it's a little bit too early. But I mean, talent wise, he's definitely probably I'd be willing to say top 3.
Oh, dude, for sure. Like, I'm actually willing to put him in like the same conversation as Aaron Rodgers, and he may end up being the most talented quarterback ever. Like, that's how ridiculously good Patrick Mahomes is. I'm actually ready to put Mahomes in my top 5. Like, I feel like it kind of sounds a little outrageous, but like his peak,
I mean, it's not like that.
dude, his peak, man, like you can legitimately make an argument that Mahomes has the best peak out of any quarterback ever in the history of the game. Like, for what he's accomplished so far, and like it's crazy that like what Mahomes has accomplished, and like we're literally a third of his career end. He's got like 10 or 15 years left. Like, imagine what this man can do. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, Zach, more Super Bowls than my quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, which, I mean, it's reality. I'm not going to be too upset about that. But because Mahomes' favorite player growing up was Aaron Rodgers, so I can't be mad at that. Obviously, he knocks out Drew Brees, and he's right at my number 5 spot. Unfortunately, he does have more all pros than Drew Brees does. So I think like, and then obviously winning more MVPs. So like what Mahomes has accomplished so far, like he set himself a tier above like the next generation quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, who are the up and coming guys who are going to take over the next generation of the quarterbacks that we grew up loving to watch. But I'm actually ready to put Mahomes right at number 5, and I think he just only goes up to there. And there's an argument that you could make, and I do agree with you. I don't think he catches up to Brady for 7 Super Bowls. But like, even if he gets like maybe 4 or maybe 5 Super Bowls, you could probably hear like conversations saying Mahomes is the greatest quarterback to ever step on the field, because like not only is his talent, but it also equated to a lot of success in the NFL. And like, even when you want to talk about Brady's rings, like the first 2 rings that Brady won, Belichick's defense. It was all Belichick's defense. Mahomes' first 2 rings, it was literally Mahomes doing it. Like Mahomes doing his magic, and like the Chiefs having an average defense. So like so I think that's the reason why people are going to look at it and be like, oh, if Mahomes can get like 4, maybe 5 Super Bowls, they're ready to say that he's the GOAT. And like, honestly, I really don't mind it. And I think Mahomes has some serious GOAT potential because like, man, the pace that he's on right now, it's actually ridiculous. And it's very insane because I'm so glad that Patrick Mahomes has won MVP, because the amount of people that were counting Mahomes out the moment Tyreek Hill got traded, like they were saying that Patrick Mahomes no longer should be the best quarterback in football because he no longer has Tyreek Hill. I thought that logic was stupid. And like the next thing you know, he led the league in passing yards and got the Chiefs to like the second best record in the league. And then they ended up winning the Super Bowl. He got his Super Bowl MVP, whatnot. But I mean, it's crazy. I mean, but wow. I mean, the season that Mahomes had, and then people were doubting the Chiefs, it's amazing. So, and that's the good part. So, Patrick Mahomes, you're in my top 5 all time. So, congratulations, man. I think he's only going to get better from there. And let's be clear, he already has the same amount of rings as Peyton Manning. Like, he's probably going to get more than that. That is insanity. And he's never even played a single road playoff game. Like, that's actually
also crazy to see his receiving like corpse. I mean, it was like not elite by any standard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what he was still able to do. I mean, I know he has Travis Kelce. It kind of reminds me of almost like a 2015 Cam action where
yes.
Cam had Greg Olsen, but then his next leading receiver was Ted Ginn. You know, he's like working with nothing. And
right.
I think the Chiefs definitely had a better wide receiver group.
Oh shit, Zach's
wide. Like the best receiver on that roster is Juju. And
oh yeah.
I mean, Juju's not really the elite number 1 guy. I mean, I don't think he would go to too many teams and, you know, be their desired number 1. So,
right.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes was extremely impressive looking at the weapons that he had to work around.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's crazy? You see the Chiefs rookie class last year? Like this for like last year's draft, and like how they played. Dude, the way they played this year?
The rookie corners. Oh, yeah.
Trent McDuffie is him, dude. He's actually good. I like Trent McDuffie stepped up. Sky Moore, like their project wide receiver who Andy Reid was so high on. He was wanting to get him. He was getting involved. What's his name? Leo Chenal, my favorite linebacker other than Kobe Dean. Like his tackling, everything. Leo Chenal balled out in that Super Bowl. It was nice to see him come up. And then George Karlaftis, one of the best edges coming out of this draft class. I mean, he had a pretty good season too. And the fact that their rookie class is so good, that's the scary part about Kansas City. And it was all thanks to the Tyreek Hill trade for making it possible. But man, that is insane. Like Kansas
kind of piggybacking off this conversation about Patrick Mahomes and where he ranks all time. What about Travis Kelce? Because Travis Kelce has played a major role in Mahomes' career, and it's going to be interesting to see when Mahomes doesn't have Travis Kelce to see like how he can perform without such a dynamic weapon.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I don't wonder if Mahomes has ever played a game without Travis Kelce, but even then, I mean, if Mahomes is like spreading the ball around, I mean, I'm sure it's really not too different because Juju was their best receiver on that team. And even Juju was close to getting 1,000 yards for the season, but unfortunately he just had concussion and then that just kept him out for a few games.
You would know.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I was like, well, Juju, like we all know what Juju is. Like he's a good wide receiver. It's just that like he's gotten unlucky with injuries. And then I'm so happy that Marquez Valdes-Scantling got a ring because Packers fans, I remember back in 2020, they were sending this man death threats when he fumbled that ball against the Colts that one game, and I'm just so happy that he got a ring. And so just like a little FU to Packers fans out there. This is coming from a Packers fan himself right here, but yeah. But I'm very happy to see MVS get that ring because it was well deserved by him. But speaking of Juju, he is a free agent. Do you think Juju should walk or should Kansas City re-sign him?
I'll let Mina take that one.
What about you, Mina? You said what?
I don't know, man. I think Juju is in a good spot in his career because he always has a fallback option as a TikTok star. So, realistically, if he doesn't re-sign, I don't really see him as a very valuable wide receiver. So
yeah, I think
become an influencer instead.
I think you could see a scenario where Juju may walk, but I highly doubt so too. Because like obviously he's our best wide receiver. Mecole Hardman is another free agent, and he's kind of big on the Chiefs' offense too because he's their gadget guy. But I feel like Juju's gonna like demand more money to the point where Casey's just gonna be like, "Yeah, you're gonna walk." That's probably the only time I'm gonna see him walk, and they'll probably re-sign Hardman, let Juju walk, and then maybe they might keep MVS because he's also on a 1-year deal and he's a free agent. And I mean, they also just traded for Kadarius Toney, but even then, if they want Toney to be like their gadget wide receiver or whatever they want him to be, then like it would make sense to let Hardman walk because Hardman does that because Hardman has like that gadget type role, and Kadarius Toney can do just that. But I think the vision why I could see Casey wanting Hardman because of Kadarius Toney's injury history. But I feel like Juju should stay. Like he's been pretty huge for Kansas City. Like he's been the only good red zone target for Mahomes other than Kelce. So I feel like he should stay. And I mean, literally his career resurrected with Mahomes because people were writing Juju Smith-Schuster off. So it was pretty. So I think he should re-sign with Kansas City. But if he's demanding more money, like let's say $10 million a year or so, then I can see Kansas City letting him walk, and then Juju probably going to some team like the Chicago Bears where they have like the most cap space out of any team in the NFL or something. But other than that, like I thought I just wanted to ask you guys about Juju Smith-Schuster because that was a topic that was kind of wondering. But other than that, moving on, like with a team that is in the same division as Kansas City, the Las Vegas Raiders decided to move on from Derek Carr. He's now a free agent. They did so by releasing him, which is pretty typical by the Raiders. They always release players, but rather than trade them. But Derek Carr is officially no longer the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. which sucks for Devontae Adams. So, which I feel bad for him. But Derek Carr, no longer a Raider. Where do you think he goes? Because he's already met with the Saints and the Jets. Where do you guys think he ends up?
Good.
I think I'll go to the Jets. I think the Jets will do whatever it takes to get him. I think they believe in him. Me personally, I love Derek Carr as a person. I think he's a great guy. You know, he's
Oh
proven
yeah,
that over the years. Great leader. But I think he's a little bit overrated as an actual quarterback. Not gonna lie.
yeah,
I mean, he had the best wide receiver in football. I don't care what anybody says. I think Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver. Um, and yeah, I know you agree, but yeah, he had the best wide receiver in football, and I mean, he couldn't even keep his starting job throughout the season. I mean, he did not. He was not consistent with decision making. He wasn't consistent with accuracy, and these have kind of been concerns ever since he had that injury back in, I think it was 2016,
hmm
where he broke his leg. He's been really inconsistent. Gruden kind of got him back in the groove, but then this year with McDaniels, he kind of showed those inconsistencies again. So
hmm
we'll have to see, next year where he goes and how he plays. But I kind of think it might be a little bit of a like Matt Ryan situation where you think you're getting this like proven veteran who's safe option, but then he ends up being a little bit disappointing. Maybe not like as washed as Matt Ryan, but definitely a little bit. He might be a little underwhelming for whatever fan base gets him.
yeah. I agree completely. I mean, Derek Carr obviously had a down year, and yeah, he is a little overrated. That some people try to rank him as, but I still think he's a good quarterback. Like, like he's like in that Kirk Cousins, Tua Tagovailoa tier. I'll probably take him before I take Tua or Kirk Cousins because Derek Carr's a little bit more aggressive than these guys, and I like aggressive quarterbacks a lot personally. Um, but yeah, I mean, Derek Carr, like his entire career with the Raiders, like the 9 years he spent, has been the most stable thing that the Raiders organization had, and like they did him dirty. And yeah, he had a bad year this year, but then again, Josh McDaniels, like he sucks as a head coach. Like I'm not gonna forget what he did to Tim Tebow back in Denver. Um, but McDaniels is awful. Um, and but I mean, I think Carr is a good quarterback. He'll take you to the playoffs, and you could probably get a playoff win. I mean, he just showed you like the year before when the Raiders made the playoffs, they almost got a win against Cincinnati, and like this was when they lost Henry Ruggs and they lost I think somebody else.
Their
Um,
coach,
yeah, they lost John Gruden,
John Gruden. Yeah,
who's a nut job, and then Rich Bisaccia took over, which I still am mad at the Raiders that they did not keep him. Which, by the way, I would thank them because he's our special teams coordinator. But still, again, like I really wanted Rich Bisaccia to be like their head coach, see what he could have done with them. Because I mean, a team that was just so dysfunctional, and like they made the playoffs, and the players loving Rich Bisaccia. I kind of felt bad for Rich that he did not get that head coaching job. But I'm happy that he's with Green Bay, being our special teams coordinator. So I would love to see him, retain. But other than that, like it sucks for Rich because like for what he's done. But yeah, I mean Derek Carr taking that Raiders team. I mean, coming every day, filling that team with positive energy, being the leader like what you want an NFL quarterback to be, and willing that team to the playoffs and almost getting a playoff win against the Bengals. Um, and then this year, obviously first year with Tay Adams, like we all had expectations that the Raiders would be better, but then again, we were kind of blinded by like the fact that yeah, Carr has Adams, Renfro, Waller. Renfro and Waller have been injured for most of the season. And then Josh McDaniels, we know he sucks as a head coach, but even then, like Carr and Adams, like we thought it would be just enough for like to help the Raiders, but obviously Carr didn't play good this year, so it kind of sucks. But I do hope that whatever team that, whatever team he goes to, it's an upgrade for them at the quarterback position, especially if his team's looking for a quarterback. Um, but yeah. What about you, Mina? What do you think of Carr getting released by the Raiders and where do you think he should go?
I honestly think it was kind of a waste seeing him walk just like that because
hmm
I think he's still. I mean, he's still a valuable quarterback. Like, who are they going to start?
Don't they I think they have what's his name? Jared Stidham?
he's not under contract.
Yeah,
Oh, is he?
He's a free agent. Yep.
Oh, wow. Then I guess the
what
Raiders.
are they,
So they
what are
had
they
the
doing?
seventh. They had the seventh pick in the draft, so like they could probably go and draft a guy or something.
I just feel like it was a reckless decision.
Hmm.
They
Man,
could
that's
easily
crazy. Man,
they could have at least traded him away, or, and who
yeah.
knows like what the free agent draft class, or sorry, free agent uh DB class is looking like right now anyway. So
I know Carr is a free agent. Daniel Jones is a free agent. Um,
that's the
Geno
ones who
Smith is
stepped up.
another. Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew. Um, there's some Taylor Heineke is another, but there's some QBs on the market, but like starting caliber, like
Sam Darnold.
yeah, Sam Darnold too. Yeah, he's a free agent. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a few there's a couple of free agents out there.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, Cam Newton. um,
Mike
heck,
Glennon.
Aaron Rodgers might get traded. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, this might be the year where we may move on from A-Rod. So I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, he's came out of his darkness retreat. I don't know when he's gonna make his announcement. But yeah. But I mean, the Raiders got options, and they have the seventh pick in the draft. So like, if they get lucky with like, I mean, they could. I mean, if Young's probably gonna get taken first, I don't know, or maybe like they could probably get lucky with Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. Who knows? Or but but I mean, yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense that the Raiders just try and trade for like a veteran or something because like this team has like way too many holes. Their offensive line is eh. Their defense sucks. It blows. Um, so I mean, I don't think the Raiders are there yet and trying to like going all in to win it all. Like the Jets, who are like legitimately a quarterback away. They could do good things with Derek Carr. Um, I think if the Jets could get like an Aaron Rodgers or a Lamar Jackson, they'll probably be Super Bowl contenders right away because they're just major upgrades over Derek Carr. But other than that, I think Carr is a good quarterback, and I think like he'll whatever team gets him, like he'll do some good services. Just hopefully not the Saints because the Saints just don't know how to manage their money. So they keep screwing
I
themselves
agree.
over. They keep screwing themselves over in their cap situation. So it sucks. Like
I think the Saints are also overrating their roster.
It, dude, thank you. The amount of people that overrated the Saints this year, it's insane. Like Jameis Winston, the hype that he got. Like I was going up for memes and saying that it's J-Bo time, but dude, he's not that good. Like you can tell how Sean Payton really is as a coach, the juice that he brings to that team. Because like the way this man coaches, he's gonna bring the best out of anyone. And like you just saw the Saints, they just look completely deflated. The only thing positive for the Saints this year was Chris Olave. And like Alvin Kamara, he was pretty bad this year. Michael Thomas, which I mean, he
Non-existent.
yeah, just non-existent, which sucked. I mean, he keeps getting injured, which I mean, and then their defense, I mean, they tried making us think that signing Tyrann Mathieu was going to upgrade their secondary. But Tyrann Mathieu, if you like watch his film, he was horrible this year. He was bad. Um,
They also lost one of their best DBs in CJ Gardner Johnson last year. So that was a
dude,
really underrated loss.
the Eagles robbed the Saints in that deal. They robbed them. I can't
For
remember what
sure.
I can't remember what the compensation was, but I think the Saints gave up way too little. They got way too little back from the Eagles. The Eagles didn't give up much to get CJ Gardner Johnson, and I was like, oh my gosh. How did the Saints let that happen? I don't get it. But yeah, the Saints, I mean, they overrated their roster this year. I mean, and next year it's gonna get even worse for them. And you know what's crazy is that not this year, but 2024, Michael Thomas has the biggest cap hit out of any team in the NFL. Like not just any team, but any player in the league. Even worse than Deshaun Watson. Like his cap hit is almost $60 million.
Wow.
Yeah, because the Saints just keep restructuring contracts, and I'm just like, when are they gonna blow it up and just like restart clean? But I'm pretty sure NFC South fans don't want that to happen. They want the Saints to keep ruining their future, which I'm
Oh
all in
yeah,
for.
absolutely.
Which I'm all in
I'll
for.
say one thing. I'll say one thing. I'm never drafting a Saints offensive player in fantasy ever again. After drafting Michael Thomas, thinking I got a steal, heck no. It's not gonna happen.
Oh man, that sucked for you, man. That was unfortunate though. He was cooking
Oh
in
yeah.
like the first couple of weeks, but
He
then
was the first 3 games, and then nope,
that sucks,
no
man.
warranty. Yeah, yep.
Man, Saints gonna Saint, man. It's what it is. But but I mean, other than that, I mean, but yeah, you just tell like Saints, like no Sean Payton, that team completely sucks. And then obviously they're gonna probably be worse. Kamara might be in jail next year. Who knows? Because like he's got that verdict coming up soon.
AB.
So like
Mm-hmm.
for this stuff that he got in trouble for in Vegas, um, which by the way, that gives us a good transitioning point. That since I mentioned Sean Payton, that wraps up. That gets us into the next segment, and we get to talk about the complete NFL head coaches that got hired so far. And if I can pull a tweet up, the first thing I can tell you is that the Denver Broncos traded away a first round pick. And I believe it was a first round pick to the Saints to get Sean Payton. And man, I think this is a good hire. I mean, Denver needing to reset and like needing a coach. And a lot of people were like, well, the Broncos should have not given up that first round pick. But we've seen coaches get traded and my teams had to give up first round picks. Like John Gruden back in 2002, the Raiders traded John Gruden to the Buccaneers and they got 2 first round picks and 2 second round picks back in return. And that was when the Bucs had the 2002 defense, which was one of the best defenses we've ever seen. And they won that Super Bowl. And kind of just shows you how important coaching is. I mean, Bill Belichick got traded for a first round pick by the Patriots, I believe. By the Jets to the Patriots. So, I mean, it's actually insane. But yeah, the Denver Broncos trading for Sean Payton, I think it's a great move. I mean, if there's anyone that can turn this Broncos organization around and keep them back on track, it's Sean Payton for sure. I mean, he's a brilliant offensive mind, immediately a top 10 head coach when he's coaching in the league. I mean, you saw what he did with Drew Brees, and even a great example, his ability to work with quarterbacks that don't even operate in structure, because Russell Wilson does not operate in structure. Drew Brees does, but we've seen what he did with guys like Teddy Bridgewater, who is a quarterback that doesn't play in structure. Same with Jameis Winston. He made Jameis look serviceable. Teddy obviously had that little 5-0 run or whatever it was back in 2019 when Brees was out. But other than that, I mean, Sean Payton, like he has the ability to, adapt to his offense. So I love this hire by Denver. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on what do you think the Broncos could be under Sean Payton?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what he can do with Mr. Unlimited. But I don't know. Them getting Javonte Williams back, that's really exciting. And I mean, if everyone stays healthy, I mean, they'll kind of have a good offense on paper.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're looking pretty good on paper, but we'll see. I mean, Sean Payton, he has a proven track record. Russell Wilson and Drew Brees are kind of like the same size, and Russell's losing mobility.
Right.
I think that's still like a key part of his game. But he's kind of like losing that, so he's got to kind of start making that transition to a more, sit in the pocket, make precise passes type of game. I think Sean Payton will be the perfect coach for that because he worked with somebody with a similar body, in Drew Brees. So I think he's like kind of the perfect coach for the Broncos. But it kind of does hurt to lose that long-term asset in that first-round pick after giving up so much for Russell Wilson. So if this doesn't work out, the Broncos are going to be very screwed for a long time. So we'll see how it works out.
I mean, I can tell you, it was like a late first-round pick to like an early second-round pick. So like whatever they could have gotten at pick 30, like I felt like it was probably worth it regardless, because I can guarantee you, like they want Sean Payton to be their long-term head coach. Like, there's just no way, like, you're gonna see, like, if they move on from Russell Wilson, then they're gonna immediately move on from Sean Payton. No, like, I just think, like, they want Sean Payton as their long-term guy. I can see, like, how Denver could get screwed, like, if it doesn't work out with Russ and Sean. But I can guarantee you, like, Sean Payton is gonna last longer than Russell Wilson. Like, that's a guarantee right there, and I can be confident about that one. But yeah, what do you think, Mina, about Sean Payton being the next head coach for the Denver Broncos?
I think it's a pretty good move. It will give him a sense of direction, but honestly, I'm not a fan of Russell Wilson where he is in his career. So
Yeah,
honestly, if they had traded Russell for Sean Payton, why not? Little
yeah,
rebuild.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Russ had a down year, but then again, I felt like it was all Nathaniel Hackett just being a goofball. I mean, you saw Russell Wilson in the last 2 games of the season just ball out, looking somewhat like the old Russ again. But I think if Russ can be like about half to like what he was in Seattle, like I think the Broncos could be a good team. Like I think they'll be good enough. Um, I can see Jerry Jeudy improving under Sean Payton. Cortland Sutton health is a little bit of a concern. I could probably see him. Their rookie tight end Greg Dulcich, who's going into year 2. He's not that bad. I mean, they got some nice pieces. And then obviously, like you mentioned, Zach, Javonte Williams coming back. That's going to be huge for Denver. Hopefully, he gets used correctly, unlike what Nathaniel Hackett tried using him. Because he was trying to make Javonte the speed guy and use Melvin Gordon to be the bruiser back, which was just completely opposite. So I don't know what the hell Nathaniel Hackett was doing, but Sean Payton, like I'm sure he's going to figure out something, and I'm pretty sure like he's going to get Russ back to what he was. I can't remember who Sean Payton has as his offensive coordinator, but I do know that Denver let go of Evero Ajiro, and he's now the Panthers defensive coordinator.
Yes, sir.
Which I absolutely love that move. But the Broncos decided that we're gonna have Vance Joseph come on and have him be the next DC. Yet after letting a Gyro go, like Rex Ryan was getting interviews, and I was like, I want to see Rex Ryan in Denver. I'm not gonna lie, like he's a great defensive mind, and like yeah, you see him like develop Darrelle Revis, and now he's gonna work with Pat Surtain, who's probably the best corner in all of football right now. And I mean, man, I wish they hired Rex Ryan, but they're going with Vance Joseph, and I think it's not bad. I think Vance Joseph it's a good defensive mind. So obviously even though
kind of an awkward reunion though.
You said what?
It's kind of an awkward reunion between the Broncos and Vance Joseph.
Yes, dude.
He used to be their head coach, so
yeah, he was the Broncos head coach, and they screwed him over. I can't remember who they added quarterback. Oh, Trevor Siemian at quarterback.
Or yeah.
They had Trevor Siemian, and man, and like they were just like, yeah, we're gonna fire you because like this team couldn't do jack crap. But this was like the post Peyton Manning era, and the Broncos just sucked. They were like probably the worst team in the league, and I was just like, what else could you expect Vance Joseph to do? So I'm glad he's getting an opportunity again. But yeah, I mean him being the Broncos DC, I'm kind of curious to see what he could do. Although I would love to see Rex Ryan there because like number one, Hard Knocks with Rex Ryan with the stuff that he says when he was with the Jets. That was hilarious. But then again, like him working with Pat Surtain, I think that's gonna be insane. But I can't remember who Sean Payton has as his offensive coordinator. So I can't remember who that is, but other than that, like I think Denver did a really good job. So as I'm actually on Twitter right now, they traded Bradley Chubb to Miami, and Miami gave up that first round pick. Denver used that first round pick to get Sean Payton. So I think like getting a coach like for a long term, it's always going to have more impact than any player. So I kind of like what Denver's doing. So I think that's really good right there. So I just saw that on Twitter. So shout out to Dolph Kleiman. If I may have pronounced his last name right, but yeah, I mean, a good hire. Hoping the Broncos could turn things around. I mean, this was a team that was trying to go all in for a Super Bowl. They thought they were a quarterback away, and obviously things did not go how they wanted to. And hopefully Sean Payne can get them competitive with their division, and Broncos could potentially make the playoffs next year. There's a chance. I think we'll have to see what the schedule is, what they do in the offseason, which not sure how they're going to do it with the lack of draft picks that they have and the cap space, but other than that, I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting. But I mean, I have faith in Sean Payton, so I mean that's the good part. So other than Sean Payton, Texans hiring 49ers defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans. Love it. Love this move because he was a former linebacker for the Texans, obviously knows the city of Houston. He knows the Texans organization, knows exactly what they want. I mean, it's a great culture fit. I think like the Texans defense could improve. Not sure about how their offense is going to be, but their defense, Texans defense was god awful. They're going to improve under DeMeco, and DeMeco's going to cook some good things. And I think Houston's up for a treat because DeMeco's going to make the city of Houston proud. But let me know your guys' thoughts.
I agree word for word with what you said. Great culture fit. I love that he's a former player, and he actually wanted to be there. He wanted to be there really bad. So that was
Yeah.
like his number one choice, and that's extremely important. So like you said, the offense is kind of up in the air. No real direction at quarterback. That'll be interesting to see. But I really think the defense will get better,
Mm-hmm.
like you said. So
Yeah, absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah.
He was one of my number one hires for the Panthers, but they weren't really that interested in him. So, but I'll let you transition into the Panthers hiring.
Oh yeah, but before I do that, I'm gonna get a little bit on DeMeco because the 49ers secondary, like their cornerbacks, they were like ranked first in press coverage, and like Chardavius Ward, Jimmy Ward, like those are pretty average corners. Look what he's about to do with Derek Stingley.
Mhm.
He is going to cook under DeMeco Ryans. I mean, man, Derek Stingley for a comeback player of the year agenda, it could be insane. That is insane. Like it could be like a JC Horn type of breakout. That's how insane like I'm calling Derek Stingley. That dude is good, and DeMeco Ryans getting his hands on him. Man, that is going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome fit. Texans do currently have the second overall pick. I mean, they could get lucky and get a quarterback, and we'll see what they do. But kind of goes in with the draft and see what DeMeco wants. I mean, he's gonna probably do what the city of Houston wants. I think they may just go quarterback here, but other than that, I mean, that's awesome. Now Zach wants to transition, and we're gonna do just that, which is probably my favorite head coaching hire move. The Carolina Panthers hiring Frank Reich to be the franchise's next head coach. Oh, shoot. Before I continue, Mina, I did not ask you for your thoughts on DeMeco Ryans being in Houston. My bad about that. What's your thoughts on DeMeco being in Houston, by the way?
I think that's an excellent way to elevate their team.
I'm sorry. I couldn't really hear you, dog. I'm sorry. Mina?
I think he might be a little out for the count, but
Yeah, can you hear
we'll
me?
see.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. I think it's a great culture fit.
Yeah.
Could be an exciting future ahead for the fellows down south.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really 100%. That's what the Texans needed. Like the organization is a dysfunction. They don't have an identity. So DeMeco Ryans come in there, great culture fit, and like giving a team an identity. I mean, that's what they need. So, yeah, it's a good move by Houston. I just hope that they keep him for more than a year and just not fire him after 1 year like they did with David Coley and Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, Bears legend. But other than that, I mean, yeah, D'Amico Ryans A+ move, love it. Now to my most favorite hire. Zach's Carolina Panthers hired Frank Reich to be the franchise's next head coach. I love this move because considering that they went from Matt Rule, who was like a college coach, trying to see if he's going to work out in the NFL, to a proven veteran head coach and a guy that like knows the quarterback position. Love this move. I love this move for Carolina. Zach, take it away, man.
Yeah, for sure. I love the move too, and I don't only love that move, but I love the staff that he's bringing in too. I mean, he's bringing in an absolutely loaded staff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about the Panthers' direction next season. The Panthers have so much talent on defense. I mean, they have a ridiculous amount of talent on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And our cap situation really isn't that bad either. And
Right.
we have a lot of draft picks too that we can work with. So it'll be exciting to see. The one major piece that the Panthers do need though is quarterback, and that's maybe the biggest piece that any team could ever need ever. So we'll see what we do at quarterback. We have Sam Darnold in free agency. We have Matt Corral coming off injury. I don't know if the Panthers have too much stock in him, honestly, but we'll see. He could. I mean, they'll at least give him a chance in the preseason and take some reps. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you have, two guys in the wings there, and we'll see what we do with Darnold, but I would love to see us draft a quarterback. And my favorite quarterback in the draft is CJ Stroud. Favorite quarterback in the draft. I would love to see the Panthers make a move to get CJ Stroud. I see you liking that take right there.
I
But
approve. I approve.
yeah, no, for sure.
I
I mean,
approve. Go ahead.
Panthers have all the talent in the world on defense, and they have good talent on offense too. I mean, you have DJ Moore. I mean, we have a lot of young guys. We have Chuba Hubbard. We'll see what we do with Foreman, but he looked great last year. Great
Mhm.
offensive line, top tier offensive
Yes.
line, probably the first time ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time
Yeah.
since the Panthers have actually had an offensive line.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
yeah, and then you have some other good receivers too, like Steve Smith. He's not bad. TMJ, Terrace Marshall.
Mhm.
He was looking pretty good. So we'll see. I'm kind of excited about it. You got Tommy Tremble, tight end. I'm not going to go through their whole roster, but yeah, you do have a lot of talent on offense, and it'll be
Right.
exciting to see when they actually put a quarterback in place. So
Right. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. The staff that Reich has put up, it's insane. I mean, Jim Caldwell being your senior assistant. Do you like know how good that is for your locker room, dude?
oh, for
That is,
sure,
I love it. I love having Jim Caldwell being in my locker room. That is amazing. You saw what this
and
man
so much
did.
NFL experience. So
You
much NFL experience on the
you
roster
saw
now.
what
We
he
went
did
from
with the
none
line.
to
Right. Right.
yeah,
You saw what he did with Detroit when he was the head coach for the Detroit Lions before Matt Patricia took over. He was there for 4 years. The Lions made the playoffs 2 of the 4 seasons, and even though they lost in the first round, but like with a pretty bad Lions roster, like Jim Caldwell coached that team, and obviously a lot of it was Matt Stafford being like a really pretty good quarterback. But even then, like Jim Caldwell, like coaching that team and like getting him into the playoffs. I mean, dude, a culture fit that is amazing. Um, Obviously, Jairo Avero, Denver was just so stupid and not give him a new contract. Panthers got him. He's their new defensive coordinator. He's going to
love that
cook.
move.
I love it. I'm ready to see what JC Horn does under him. You saw what Surtain was able to do. Now Horn, man, JC's going to be incredible. He's so athletic, and this dude, love JC Horn. Brian Burns, I'm a huge Brian Burns fan myself. Love that man. I think you guys got
Dante
Shaq,
Jackson.
Dante Jackson. That dude's good. He's got game. Same thing with Shaq Thompson. Okay, pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. Okay, good linebacker. Not a bad linebacker, but the offensive line, like you mentioned, they balled out this year. Like nobody was high on the Panthers offensive line, like except for like their rookie tackle Ike Kwanu, but that offensive line played their butts out. Like, man, the Panthers, like, even if the Panthers don't go quarterback, I think they're locking the division next year. Because like
Really,
I think the Panthers lock this division. because we've seen how important coaching is in the NFL. Like, look at Doug Peterson. Look what he's doing in Jacksonville. A complete culture change. Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback because of Doug Peterson. Look at the Giants, for example. I mean, this was a team that like nobody was high on. Neither I was. Made the playoffs, got a playoff win, all because of Brian Dable, one coach of the year. Look at the San Francisco 49ers. I get that their defense is probably the best in the league that year and whatnot, but their quarterbacks were injured. Like, they were banged up, they were injured, they were missing time. And even then, Kyle Shanahan coaching that team, and obviously his offensive scheme, which just amazes me every single day. A third string quarterback took Brock Purdy and like hasn't even lost a game with him. Like, that is insanity with what San Francisco is doing. So, I mean, but yeah, coaching matters. And the Panthers, like, by far have the best coaching staff in that entire division. And so, like, literally, if a quarterback falls, I'm also hope it's CJ Stroud. Man, I think Carolina could do some really good damage in that division. Some would say that the Panthers should trade up with the Bears to get that number 1 overall pick and they get their quarterback, or like hope that one of these quarterbacks fall. Well, maybe like an Anthony Richardson, which I actually like Anthony Richardson. He reminds me a lot of Josh Allen. But other than that, and I think like Carolina, like with what they could do, like with Frank Reich knowing how to work with quarterbacks and stuff, like this being a quarterback friendly team, like any quarterback that the Panthers try to go for, it's going to be good for them. So like I absolutely love what Carolina's doing. Dom Capers is your senior defensive assistant.
I was going to ask you about him. Yeah,
dude, he's well respected. Love that move. I mean, Panthers, I mean, what they're doing, awesome. Just awesome. I mean, they're winning the offseason so far. The Panthers are winning the offseason so far. So, let me see. I think I could pull up a little tree, but it has but I just saw a tweet of like the complete coaching tree. And yeah, Carolina just nailed it out of the park. So, I'm very excited to see what the Panthers end up doing this year. So yeah, Thomas Brown, your offensive coordinator, Deuce Staley, your assistant head coach, Chris Tabor, your special teams coordinator, Josh McCown, veteran NFL quarterback who, even though spent the most of his career as a backup, but he was also helping young guys. He's your quarterback's coach. I mean, Parks Frazier, your passing game coordinator. I mean, the Panthers coaching staff, I mean, I love it. I am a fan of what the Panthers are doing, and I think like a complete culture change, a complete change in the organization. I love it. So like they're truly a quarterback away, and like we could be talking about Panthers as serious contenders in the NFC.
for sure.
Yeah, man. I love what they're doing here. Mina, what about you, man? What's your thoughts on Frank Reich and being in Carolina and then seeing like the staff that he's hired?
Excellent move. Anything is better than what's his name, Matt Rule.
Yeah. And I feel for Frank Reich too, because like he got scapegoated by Jim Irsay, who probably might be the dumbest owner in the NFL other than Jerry Jones. But like I call Irsay a Jerry Jones wannabe, but I mean Irsay is stupid, but because like he just wants to keep trading for veteran quarterbacks, and then until he realizes like they're old and like they're no longer that guy anymore, he just blames it on the head coach. And Frank Reich got scapegoated, but yeah, I'm glad that Dave Temper gave him an opportunity and hired him. And then obviously Jim Caldwell, like the fact that he has Jim Caldwell, that's what's making me a good fan. I love Jim Caldwell. I am a huge Jim Caldwell fan. So, I mean, the Panthers, if they could get Stroud, man, I will be enamored.
It's like the mix between like the old guys, the old established guys, and like the new blood. We have Josh McCown in there. We have Thomas Brown. Then you also have your Jim Caldwell to kind of like direct those guys, and then you have Frank Reich with all the experience that he has and NFL coaching, and even on defense, same thing. You got Dom Capers, but then you got the young talent and the Broncos defensive coordinator who came over. So
Right.
this is really exciting. We're building something good in Carolina, and we'll see how it plays out this season.
The one thing I do wish Carolina would have done was keep Steve Wilkes, because that man coached that team to its hardest. But then again, like, but with seeing what they did, like, but I'm glad that San Francisco gave him an opportunity to be the defensive coordinator. I'm glad that Steve Wilkes got that opportunity. Because that dude coached that team out. I mean, players were playing for him. They were vouching for Steve Wilkes. But even then, like, they'll be happy with Frank Reich and then the staff that he's assembled. So I think Panthers players can be happy about that. And hopefully whatever the quarterback that the Panthers get, I'm hoping DJ Moore, like, explodes, dude. Because, like, dude, the fact that the production that he gets, and it's, like, with terrible quarterback play, like, it's ridiculous. So I am so ready to see what DJ Moore can do because, man, DJ Moore, dude, still continues to get underrated, even though a lot of people recognize him to be underrated. But, I mean, then again, like, DJ Moore, we love DJ Moore a lot. And like you mentioned, Deontay Foreman, there's a world where I don't know if the Panthers may have that pick, or I don't know. Do you have like one first round pick, or do you have another? I can
I
check.
think it's just one.
Let me go and double check that.
Yeah, it should be just one, and then we got 2 seconds
Yeah, I
because
think.
of the McCaffrey trade.
Yeah, that's right. The McCaffrey trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that worked with you really well. Love that CMC trade. Oh, okay. The Panthers, I think they do have one first round pick. Oh, wait. I just had Tankathon opened. Let me see. Yeah, you guys have one first round pick. Darn it. I wish if you guys had 2 first round picks, I would have been like CJ Stroud and then Bijan Robinson. That would have been
That'd be a combo.
that would be amazing.
That would be a combo.
Carolina going quarterback and then they get Bijan Robinson. I love
I'm telling you, Keaton Mitchell, late in the draft, Keaton Mitchell, he's the move. I'm telling you. Oh, yes, sir.
Repping our alma maters, East Carolina University, Keaton Mitchell was our running back. Dude, he can play. Any of you guys that are watching, and if you don't know who Keaton Mitchell is, I suggest you go ahead and look him up. This guy can play. Like, he is really good at the running back position. Probably a sleeper running back pick in this draft. So please, if you're watching this and you just want to look at it like a sleeper draft pick, take a look at Keaton Mitchell, look at his tape, and you won't regret one bit. But yeah, Keaton Mitchell to the Panthers, that would be incredible. I would love it. I would love it.
I'd buy a jersey instantly. I'd buy one.
I would too, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I would too. It would be pretty cool. I mean, cause Keaton's so good, man. He's so good.
For sure.
His vision's there. His vision is there.
Vision and speed and agility and elusiveness, it's all there. The only thing that he doesn't really have is size. But I mean,
yeah.
Obviously NFL strength and conditioning, they can get him up to size.
Right. Yeah, the size is a little concerning. But then you got guys like Deuce Vaughn, who's like my height, but bigger. So, but I mean, yeah, dude. Keaton, Panthers, I would love it. But yeah, dude. Panthers, but yeah, man. Dude, absolutely. I would love it. Like CJ Stroud being the next franchise quarterback for the Panthers on like the most quarterback friendly team. It's always a plus. And
For sure.
I haven't really done my definitive QB1 rankings. I'm like honestly going back and forth between Stroud and Bryce Young. I do like Stroud's accuracy, like his touch. It's so good. But then Bryce Young has like the mobility because Stroud doesn't really use his mobility that much, but I think maybe he could start using that because we saw it in that Georgia game. But because I think if Stroud uses that mobility, then it's clear cut him to be the QB1. Like I'm high on Stroud, man. Like that guy Stroud can play. And Bryce Young, like him too. My only small concern is his size, but then again, like the comp I could give him is probably like Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson, and like obviously guys that play out of structure. So, love to see what Bryce Young can do. But yeah, man. Mina, you gonna try to push Keaton Mitchell agenda here? We gotta get this man drafted to the Panthers. Where even is he? Yo, Mina.
I think Mina might have been pushing the Mina to bed agenda.
That's probably what he's doing. Oh man. Yeah. Or maybe he's just talking, he's just probably have connection issues. I don't know, we'll see. But other than that, the Panthers, yeah, Panthers nailed it with their head coaching hire. Another team that made a head coaching hire was the Indianapolis Colts. Frank Reich's last team that he coached.
Another great hire, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the hire too. They got Shane Steichen, Eagles offensive coordinator. Little background, he developed Justin Herbert. Also he developed Jalen Hurts. So if every guy he can get, if Colts pretty much are going to go for a quarterback here, whatever they get, man, I think this is still another good roster right here. But I mean, yeah, Shane Steichen, I think it was like the best one available, but it's a good hire. I like it a lot. So it's number one. Let's just see if Irsay is gonna let Steichen pick his own guy, because like Irsay like is just so pushing for like a veteran QB, and I don't understand why this man does stuff like this. It's like his team's not there yet, but okay. But yeah, and then the one that like I do not like the most is what's his name? Jonathan Gannon being the next head coach for the Cardinals.
Going to the Cardinals.
Yeah. I hated that hire.
I'm not a fan of the hire either.
Dude, you get clowned in the Super Bowl. And the crazy part is this. Vic Fangio pretty much was on the Eagles staff this entire season. Like, the Eagles defense was good because of Vic Fangio. Like, we know if Vic Fangio is on your defensive staff, I can pretty much guarantee you, like, the only reason why your defense is good is because of Vic Fangio. His input and his influence on defense, that's probably the reason why, like, the Eagles had a really good pass rush. But
also, they were stacked, too. Like, they had a stacked pass rush.
Dude.
I mean, you have Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and I'm forgetting somebody else. Who am I forgetting?
Javon Hargrave.
Oh, yeah, Javon Hargrave. And there's another guy, too. I'm forgetting his name. Sorry to that guy. But, I think
you're thinking of Jordan.
I'm not going to spend all day trying to remember his name. What did you say?
Are you thinking of Jordan Davis?
No, but him too. I mean,
I know Ndamukong Suh, because they signed Ndamukong Suh.
Oh yeah, him too. But no, there's somebody else too. I don't know. I can't remember their name.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they had a stacked team. I mean, they had Bradbury at corner, Slay at corner, CJ Gardner-Johnson. I mean, I keep saying it, but absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like that was a bigger part of their defensive success than scheming.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, I feel like that kind of came out in the Super Bowl too. Like when scheming became important, Gannon failed. I mean, Gannon got severely outcoached by Andy Reid. I mean, yeah, it's Andy Reid, but I mean, when you get outcoached that bad, like they literally ran the same play twice to score, just inverted, and and no adjustment. So that was kind of concerning to see. And also, I don't know if you saw the intro interviews and stuff like that, and like him meeting the players, but I don't know how receptive the players were to him. Did you see those videos?
I did not. I'm gonna have to look into it.
Oh, you have to.
Oh man. Yeah. Dude, man, it's man. He gives me Nathaniel Hackett vibes for some
reason. Same here. Defensive Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh man.
I could see that.
Man. I don't get the hire. Like, I like that you hire a defensive guy, because like then you're putting more faith in Kyler Murray to run your offense, which is good. You want to do that to your franchise quarterback, build that trust. and I do like that he's committed to Kyler, but like, I don't think it's the right guy though. I would have hired Eric Bieniemy before I would have hired Jonathan Gannon.
Same here. Yeah.
I would have for sure hired Eric Bieniemy, which is kind of crazy.
Or even Kellen Moore. Like,
Yeah,
if he
Kellen
was
Moore
still in the
too.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, Kellen Moore
But
too. Which I'm so glad the Panthers did not hire him, by the way.
I am too.
I was
Yeah.
like, I did not want Carolina hiring Kellen Moore. Yeah, I think he was just too young to be a head coach.
hmm
I'm glad he's with the Chargers, being their new offensive coordinator. Let's see what he can do with Justin Herbert. It's QB upgrade. The team apparently offensively should be better, obviously because they got Justin Herbert, major upgrade over Dak Prescott. Let's kind of see what he's able to cook up there. I do have a little skepticism because like a lot of people say like his offense is so simple, which I can see it.
hmm
But then I do want people to realize like how much influence do you think Mike McCarthy might have had on the offense? And then same with like previous head coach Jason Garrett, and they both suck. So like there's
Right.
probably that. How much do they want to limit Kellen Moore? But other than that, like um but I mean, then again, like let's see what he can do with Justin Herbert on offense. Hopefully the Chargers can fix some of their issues, get like a speedy wide receiver because their wide receiver lacks like wide receiver room. They lack speed. Keenan's not fast. Neither is Mike Williams. And
hmm
hopefully they can upgrade at a running back because I love Austin Eckler. Like he's a great receiving back, but this man cannot run in between tackles. He can't do it. He his rushing ability, like he's underwhelming at that area. I would like to see Eckler be more the third down back and then have like um hopefully I mean Chargers they could probably draft Bijan Robinson. That would be
Yeah. No,
incredible.
he'd be great for them. Yeah.
That would be
Like
incredible.
ground and pound running back that
Yeah,
they need. Yeah, for sure.
all around running back. And like you said, best running back prospects in Saquon. Bijan's incredible. I mean, getting in that Chargers offense, and I think it'll be incredible. It probably will be the best running back Kellen Moore's worked with, probably even more of an upgrade than Zeke. I mean, like that's how good Bijan is. But
hmm
but I mean, yeah. So curious to see what Kellen Moore does at offensive coordinator. But yeah, I do agree with you. I would have hired Kellen Moore to be my head coach over Jonathan Gannon. So
For sure.
Arizona, I don't know what they're doing. And like considering what their roster is, like there's a chance DeAndre Hopkins gets traded. They're like probably gonna blow it up. Like that's what Arizona is doing, and so it's just a bit concerning. But then again, like man, it's crazy. But that wraps up like the head coaching cycle that we just discussed. So shifting gears, we're gonna go over to the NBA and we're gonna talk some NBA basketball. So All-Star weekend happened. So I'm gonna let you guys take it away here with the All-Star weekend, what you thought of it, and just any general thoughts about the All-Star break.
Yeah, so I thought Jokic's stats were a little interesting. He had like what? I think he had like 4 points. He had the triple single, and it kind of brings up the question: is Jokic washed?
Dog.
Is he washed? I don't know. That stat line wasn't very
That's a
convincing.
valid
So,
question. Putting up a triple
but
single in an All-Star game?
no, I'm obviously being satirical. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good game. I mean, it was interesting. It was good to see Jason Tatum go off. What do you have, like 55? I mean,
Yeah. He broke AD's record for most points in an All-Star game.
a little try hard, but no, I'm kidding. No, it was a
Yeah.
phenomenal performance by him. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, not a lot of defense played, but it was.
Yeah, that was my big complaint about the All-Star game. It just wasn't as
mhm,
competitive as it was. Like even when Kobe was playing, like All-Star game was competitive. And I mean,
oh
I don't
yeah,
know, the vibe just fell off, which I mean sucked, but hoping the NBA can do something, fix that. Um so I mean hopefully like the All-Star game itself it can be a bit more competitive. And then the dunk contest Shout out Mac McClung. Obviously, about time like we had someone, do something creative in a dunk contest because that was good. Because like the dunk contest, I was just like waiting just for Matt Corral to dunk the Mac McClung to dunk the ball, not Matt Corral. I don't know what
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was like, I got Matt Corral and Matt McClung mixed up. What the hell? But Mac McClung, I was just waiting for him to dunk. Like I just wanted, like, can we just get to Mac McClung? I just want to see the man dunk because like
For sure.
I've seen this dude's high school tape. It's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, I mean, a G League guy like he just got signed by the Sixers. That's incredible that he won the dunk contest and it was creative. I like to see that. So hopefully the NBA can, do something about the dunk contest. But other than that, like I really didn't see anything else from the All-Star break. It was just the dunk contest and the actual game. I think Damian Lillard
Dame,
won the
yeah,
three-point,
won 3-point.
which by the way, that
He had
dude,
his own 3-point contest a few days ago
yeah, that
in
dude,
game.
dude, he
Dropping
exploded to
71.
71. Oh,
Crazy.
dude. Him and Donovan Mitchell both scoring over 70. That is insane. Man,
Hmm.
even Donovan Mitchell went off in the All-Star game. That was insane.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. It's good to see that Dame still has it, though. I mean, I feel like people really count him out. People make fun of him for staying on the Blazers, but I mean, he's always been one of my favorite players.
I
I'll
love Dame.
always ride
I
with Dame.
loved
Yeah,
him.
for sure.
You got to respect him too, because like he's all about loyalty, and like I love to see guys like that.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
I do wish though Lillard can get a chance at a ring though. So
I'd love to see that.
yeah,
Great. I mean, he's outstanding athlete, great guy on and off the court. I
mm-hmm.
mean, if anyone deserves it, it's him. So
Yeah, yeah, man. But man, Dame Lillard, that dude's him. He's him. He
oh
is.
yeah,
He is that guy. Man. What? Let's see if Mina's back. Mina, I don't know if you're back or if you're asleep or what, but Mina. I think he's probably not.
he might be KO. He might be out for the count.
Yep, he's probably KO'd. So I guess we would have to take over the show then. I guess just me and you
Yeah.
then. Mina decided I think he may have gone to bed, so I think he's just out. So can't blame him. But yeah, then again. But yeah.
Maybe if we start talking about Egyptian soccer, he'll wake up. No, I'm
Maybe we
kidding.
should. We should, maybe.
Start trashing Mo Salah, and he'll instantly appear.
Let's just trash Mo Salah and just act like he's the worst soccer player ever. Then he'll just wake up and be like, "What the
Oh
fuck
yeah,
am I saying?" Oh man, that's crazy, man. But yeah, dude, Dame Lillard balling out. All-Star game was good. And then everything, yeah, this is pretty nice. And one thing, and we were talking about this a couple days ago, but my Atlanta Hawks have hired Quinn Snyder to be the next head coach for the team. And it's officially official. Contract is signed, everything. I think he's getting a 5-year deal. But Quinn Snyder, next head coach for the Hawks. And Zach, you're a Hornets fan. So how do you feel about that, though?
yeah. So from a Hornets fan perspective, I'm sad that he won't be available after the season ends for us, because I think he'd be a good fit for the Hornets.
He's a
But
good
for the
fit.
Hawks, amazing fit, incredible fit with the backcourt that they have with Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. I mean, that is just a phenomenal fit for that team, and I'm kind of excited to see what he can do
Right.
with those two like prolific guards. So
Right.
we'll see. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Snyder. One thing you're gonna get from Quinn Snyder, he's gonna intensify a team's defense, and the Hawks extremely need to do that. And so I would love to see the Hawks play a better competitive defense, because it just seems like when we were playing under Nate McMillan, like the locker room was lost, and like even John Collins has come out and just was like, it's just like the vibe just seemed off. Like it was something along the lines. I can't remember the full quote, but it was during a shoot around and John Collins said something along the lines. He was commenting under Nate McMillan. I can't remember. I have to look back into the quote, but like Nate McMillan, like he kind of lost the locker room, and it was just evident to the point like where he needed to go. I mean, that Hornets game where you guys dropped like
Oh
140
yeah,
on us, like
that was the last straw.
that was the last straw. And like McMillan, like I get it. He took us to the conference finals 2 years ago. Excuse me. But don't let that fool you into like what this man was prior to that. Like he got fired by the Blazers, and then he recently got fired by the Pacers. Then gets hired by Atlanta. Obviously, they go on a run, which a Cinderella one run, which they shouldn't have been in the Eastern Conference Finals to begin with. But like Nate McMillan's like his scheme lacks creativity. He has poor clock management, doesn't even know when to
Mhm.
call timeout. Like those were just some of the biggest problems. And it was just so evident and that it was costing the Hawks a lot of that game. And then that Hornets game, like obviously that was a tipping point. I mean, there have been times where like at one point the Hawks kept the score. They were down by 3. It was like 99-96. The Hornets go on a run, and then this man Nate McMillan just does not call a timeout, and he just like lets the whole thing continue. And then until like the score got like out of hand and the Hornets were up by like about 20, that was when he called timeout. And I was just like, there you go, right there. Like
A little too late.
that was a perfect example, and it was way too late at that point.
Hmm.
And it sucked too because like the Hornets are like the worst 3-point shooting team in the league, and like they shot 54% from the field, and I think they made like 23 pointers that game, and I was just like, what in the actual hell is going on? But I'm glad McMillan's gone. Hopefully Snyder upgrades. There's just two things that I want to see the Hawks do is obviously defense. They got to get better. And then hopefully Quinn Snyder implements where Trae Young plays a bit more off ball. I really want Trae Young to buy into that off ball role because that would be sick if he can play off ball because I feel like he has to like because I feel like he plays a bit too much ISO and it's just so predictable like what he's going to do. And that's why you see a lot of these turnovers that get committed by Trae Young. And so I want to see Trae Young can be committed towards more off ball and just that way and limit the turnovers. And I just feel like if the Hawks can just do these two things, I think like this team could be good like within the next couple of years. And
He needs to watch Steph Curry tape.
yep,
Trae Young goes.
that's all you gotta do, just watch Steph Curry
Yep.
tape. And I
Hmm.
mean, Quinn Snyder, I mean, dude, and I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, Quinn Snyder, I don't think he's ever made to the conference finals. He like kind of blows in the playoffs and whatnot." And I get it; it matters too. But like, he won Coach of the Year once or maybe twice. I can't remember, but he's gotten Coach of the Year awards. I understand that. And like even then, he didn't lose his job in Utah. He just stepped down because he knew that Utah was going to blow it up, and it was just evident when they traded Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. And even then, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, they just did not get along. So like that was just the reason why the Jazz were struggling, and so like, that's why they couldn't get over the hump. So the thing with Snyder, hopefully new culture gets established, and the Hawks intensified that team, and they get better on defense and and then have Trae Young play more off ball. And then there's just one thing like the Hawks. I'm always hearing the Hawks getting conversations about, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on this and like whether they should do this or not. But every single time when it comes to like trade talks, John Collins' name is always there. And it's crazy because before Phoenix made that deal to acquire Kevin Durant, John Collins was so close to getting traded to the Phoenix Suns. I can't remember what the package would have looked like, but John Collins was close to being a Phoenix Sun. But until when Kevin Durant made his request available and told the Nets that he wanted to go to Phoenix, that was when Phoenix got on the phone and they made that deal at like 1:30 in the morning, and I was just like, Yeah, it was during when I was sleeping too, and like they made that
Mhm.
trade, and so eventually that blew up John Collins thing. But then we ended up trading Sadiq Bey. We gave up 5 second-round picks to get him. I'm kind of a little skeptical to see how he kind of fits with that team because, and especially let's see what Snyder can do because AJ Griffin, our rookie, he's been fantastic. I love AJ Griffin. He's been doing really good. Um, and when, and then not just that, but like, how are we going to manage the minutes between AJ Griffin, Sadiq Bey, Bogdan Bogdanovic, um, Jalen Johnson, our backup wingman, like backup power forward. He can play some pretty good defense. And then obviously with John Collins too. So like, I just kind of want to see how the minutes are managed. But other than that, like if Snyder can like figure that out, like Hawks can be a good team, and I really would love to see this. I'm happy about this hire.
No, for sure. And
Yeah,
one thing about Quinn Snyder that I think is interesting is he has a law degree and an MBA from Duke, which means
really.
he's a pretty smart guy. Yeah, no, it's true, and he's also has an NBA Coach of the Year under his belt, so he's a very accomplished guy.
I mean, that makes a lot of
I love
sense.
that hire.
That
No,
makes a
for
lot of
real.
sense. And hey,
Yeah,
and
oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, life comes really quick because before Snyder was the head coach for the Jazz, he was our assistant head coach for the Hawks,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, life just comes back full circle. Snyder's back in Atlanta.
Yeah, really. He's gonna have y'all shooting a lot of threes. He did that with the Jazz. It's a big part
Mhm.
of his system. But yeah, I think it'll be really fun to watch. Back to your John Collins point, though, I've always seen him in trade talks too, and I don't really understand it too much. I guess I don't know. I guess people just didn't think that he was part of the long term plans for the Hawks. But I
Yeah,
mean, he's very athletic, super athletic guy.
he's athletic, but I think the problem,
I
like,
think it's
yeah. Yeah, that's the question, like, that's why Hawks fans are, like, kinda questioning about John Collins 'cause they're just worried about, like, how is he gonna fit in with that roster, like, they don't really see his fit, and, like, so,
mhm.
like, that's why, like, you're always seeing Collins in trade talks and whatnot, but, I mean, hopefully Collins can figure something out and, like, can get a role 'cause, like you mentioned, like, he's very athletic, and he's a pretty good shot blocker too, so, I mean yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, man. But I mean, man, that's actually insane. But yeah, I'm excited for what the Hawks can do. Um, oh, excuse me, I was burping out here, but uh, and so far, I mean, the Hawks are what 2-0 after the All Star break, so it's kind of nice. We got the Cavs, and then we beat the Knicks, I believe. Yeah, we got, but yeah, it's pretty nice to see that happen. So
I guess they're also undefeated, but we just lost Lamelo, so we'll see.
yeah,
Very
oh
concerning injury.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I just saw
fracture.
he fractured his ankle. That
Hmm.
sucks. That
Yep,
sucks, man. Man.
it really does.
Dude, who do you think is gonna give Victor Wembanyama?
Uh, it'll be either one of the Rockets, Spurs, or Pistons,
I honestly think
probably.
it's the Rockets. If they but then again, they have to win the lottery for that, but I think the Rockets get that number 1 pick from by the lottery.
I hate the intentional tanking that goes on in the NBA and in the NFL too, but
Yeah.
I cannot stand that. The Spurs, the Spurs, that's such an intentional tank job, and I just have no respect for that. But
Okay, yeah, you got Greg
yeah,
Popovich. I don't see how you can tank, but there's no way. But yeah, dude, and like, but yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I do want to ask you, like, do you think the NFL should implement the lottery system like the NBA does?
yes,
I agree too. And the reason why I'm saying that is because next year's draft, Caleb Williams is eligible for the draft. And
hmm,
Caleb Williams is probably in that is getting that same hype that Andrew Luck's gotten in the draft. Same thing with Trevor Lawrence. Like Caleb Williams is that dude. Like he is the best quarterback in college football. And if he was in this class, like I don't even like Caleb Williams would make Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, all the other quarterbacks, um, get like second round draft grades or stuff like that. By the way, shout out to my boy the Geek Slays because I was watching his podcast and I got that straight from him. But I mean, and that's a good point too. But like Caleb Williams is him. He is him. Like he is so good. And the reason why I say that is because obviously the NBA, Victor Wembanyama, the NFL has a generational talent in Caleb Williams. And there's going to be a lot of quarterback needy teams. If they can't get their hands on a quarterback, they're going to try to intentionally tank to get that number one overall pick. And they're going to try to get Caleb Williams to be their number one guy. I mean, you just saw what the Buccaneers are doing. They announced that they're going to probably go and start Kyle Trask. And I think it's kind of reasonable, even though he's a second round pick, but I'm not really too high on Kyle Trask, even though he was a good quarterback at Florida. But then again, they're starting Kyle Trask, even though this team like really isn't like, about to blow things up and whatnot. So, so I mean, it's pretty insane, like what's going on. So I mean, and then obviously Miami, Caleb Williams said that he would love to play for the Dolphins, like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle in that team. And I just can't trust Miami because we know how that owner Stephen Ross is. I mean, he lost a draft pick and was forfeited because of the Tom Brady tanking. So he lost a draft pick for this year, and it was a first round pick. And then obviously, if you paid attention to Brian Flores when he filed that lawsuit, that he claimed that obviously Stephen Ross was wanting to get him to tank, but Flores was not wanting that, and he was all about winning and doing business. And obviously, Flores got that team, and they won like 7 straight games and whatnot, and they barely missed the playoffs. And then obviously he lost his job, and so like Ross was wanting him to tank. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. It hasn't been determined yet, but that's what Flores said. But other than that, like we really need it. I mean, first teams were tanking for Andrew Luck, and then now teams were doing it for Trevor
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence. And so like Caleb's next, like at some point you're gonna have to put it on. You're gonna have to put the lottery system. Just prevent the tanking because I hate it so much. It's just like, oh, when is Jacksonville gonna keep tanking? When is Houston gonna keep tanking? Like at some point, I want to see some other team get a number one overall pick. Like,
No, for sure. I
like,
completely agree.
like it'll make the game a lot more interesting. And so that's that. Speaking of making the game more interesting, there's been conversations about like, like how when the Eagles perform like the quarterback sneak and like how they get the
Mm-hmm.
offensive lineman to try to like push the quarterback and help them in. Now people are trying to
Yeah.
get that to ban that, which I think it's stupid personally, but like I want to hear your thoughts on that.
No, I agree. I don't think it should be banned. I forgot what game it was, but I remember um, one game where like they just flat out stopped it. And I mean, it can be stopped. I mean, but I don't think they should ban it.
Yeah,
Just
it's
stop it. If you don't like it, then you know keep them from doing it. Keep it from being successful. So
and the reason why they're doing it is because like the Eagles are just like abusing that play and it's like they just keep using it again and again. But like what people need to realize, like the Eagles have like the best offensive line in all of football. It's going to work
mm,
the majority of the time. Like this offensive line that they have is generational. Like you can legitimately put them as one of the all-time greats. Like that's how good this offensive line is. Like with Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, sorry, I can't speak, but like, I mean, still like just helping the quarterback push, like at some like what do you want? Like what? I don't understand, and you're just ruining the game at this point. The more you're just like pushing to like ban certain things, I just don't understand what this means. So like, I don't know why people are trying to push the or banning the quarterback sneak. It's just I don't get it. It's outrageous, but then again, like we're in a league where like people are just looking for ways to ban stuff. I just don't get it. But
I'm right there with you.
yeah, man, it's crazy. But other than that, I mean, I don't think I really have much to talk about. I mean, I went through pretty much everything that we needed to go over.
Yeah, I think with me now, I think might be a good one to finish up.
Yeah, Mina's out, so yeah, he's probably still asleep. His camera's off. It's been off for a while. So shout out Mina for probably not exposing to the public that he's sleeping. But yeah,
I wish I could turn his camera on. I would so do it.
dude, I would do it too. It would be
Oh, yeah.
hilarious. It would be hilarious. But yeah, those of you that are watching at home, Mina is probably knocked out and he's been asleep for a good while, so you haven't been able to hear him. So yeah, I do apologize for that, but it is kind of late at night. It's like almost 1 in the morning in my time, and then Mina's an hour behind me. But I mean, yeah, at this point, like we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
College football, college basketball news really hasn't been nothing much lately. It's just NCAA tournament. It's almost coming up, so that'll be a cool thing to do.
That'll be a big topic coming up.
It'll be a huge topic coming up. It's gonna be a huge thing. But other than that, I mean, I guess this is it, man.
Yeah,
But,
gotta save some for the next episode.
yeah, man, we gotta say some good stuff for the next episode. But
Yes, sir.
but once again, Zach, I appreciate you coming out, my man. It's an honor to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have you to be like the very first guest of the Ham Takes Pod, and hopefully more episodes to come. Well, glad to have you back on the show because I mean,
oh yeah,
I would love to do this, but dang man, and meanwhile, Mina, I'm gonna try to pretend that I'm Mina. Oh, Hansen, thank you so much. I am on the show. I really love it. But yeah, it's been amazing. But yeah, it's been a blast, dude. I love it.
And, oh yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I gotta have you back on the show. I mean, this is flat out amazing, man. But yeah, do you have any socials or anything that you want to plug in? Or
not really. I'm not really a big social media guy. I don't really have that big of a social media presence, so just happy to be here.
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you guys for taking the time listening to episode 2 of the Ham Takes Pod. And other than that, I'll see you in the next episode.